Here's a story of how hardships and obstacles should never dishearten you from pursuing your dreams. Meet Mpho Mofokeng, a daughter, a sister, an aunt, a friend, and one of South Africa's youngest pilots.
I've always liked, getting dirty, playing outdoors, climbing trees and stuff like that. Like, I was never a girly girl. I was really bad at the girly girl thing. I was just like, give me a chance, guys, to just be myself. I'll find this girly thing later.
Family vacations were very adventurous for Mpho, which makes perfect sense why she has chosen to venture into a male-dominated industry.
When we'd go on holidays, if we went on holiday with mom and dad and then my younger sister and myself, mom, my younger sister, were happy to sit indoors, read their magazines, drink tea the whole day. Dad and I would go out, game drives at 4 a.m. And my mom was like, why do you want to watch animals act like animals, where animals live, basically? And we were just like, no, it's fascinating, it's cool. So I've always just liked nature and adventurous stuff.
Though she always found herself rather rough and boyish, her siblings saw someone cute and very cuddly.
She was born in 91. We were staying in New York at the time, and we moved back in 92. I remember her being a very bubbly girl. She had the cutest dimples. She was a sweet child. She didn't cry much.
She was hectically sweet. Round and cute and just, it was crazy.
Her parents sacrificed much to give her and her siblings good quality education.
For them, it's always been a priority. It's always been a priority, to the point where we're a family of 7 staying in a 3-bedroom apartment. Girls bunked together, boys bunked together, and then my parents obviously had the master bedroom. At our school, people were from very rich families, and you'd go to their houses and you'd be like, wowzer. But my parents were like, we'd rather stay in a flat and you guys get a good education.
Mpho then developed a strong passion for a career unconventional.
I was quite young when I caught the flying bug. It was because Dad used to travel a lot. So I was just like we were always at the airport because we're also that family that always does things together, you know what I mean? And I'd go to that big window where you can see all the planes and I'd be like, oh my gosh, they're so pretty. And then the one day, we were coming out the food court and then we saw these air hostesses coming down because they were leaving and everything. And I looked at them and I was like, oh, you guys are really pretty and all, but... And then I saw the captain and I was like, I want to be that guy. He's the boss. He's the one who runs the show type of thing. So I thought that was really cool.
And during her high school years, the passion for aviation grew even stronger.
In grade 10, I knew for sure. So I'd always actively kept, a pulse on aviation-related things.
Being a daughter to a famous father and legendary actor Mpho Mofokeng didn't allow her to think she would get things easy.
Yeah. All right. And go.
Growing up, we have always been, our identifier was Jerry's kids. Jerry's this. Everybody looked at you according to your relationship to my dad because he's famous, right? For my dad, his dream is that people's identifiers will be based on us. So when people meet him at my graduation someday, they'll be like, he wants them to say, oh my gosh, you're Mpho's dad. Mpho's amazing. Do you get me? It doesn't matter what career you choose. His only requirement, him and mom, their only requirement of us as children was have a dream.
Determination and passion saw her enrolling in the States to pursue a career in aviation, but things didn't entirely go according to plan.
When I went to America, they were paying for everything themselves out of pocket. Papa was running a company then. While I was there, the company closed. I don't know what happened exactly. I never really asked. I was just sad that I had to come back. I was just kind of grumpy about it. But obviously, it affected the family and everybody and whatnot. So after the company closed, it just wasn't possible.
Mpho still didn't give up and kept her eyes on the prize.
I figured there has to be a way. There are options I obviously haven't looked at. Because, people, hey, there was a relative who was like, Mpho, with your matric marks, I don't think you'll ever be a pilot. There were others who would say, Mpho, you've been trying this thing for so long, maybe you should look at doing something else. And I was just like, you're all being haters actually. This is what I want to do. This is what makes me happy. I'm going to stick to it. Even if I have to do other things in the meantime, this I will never give up on.
With hard work, determination, and a pinch of luck, Mpho finally found someone who was going to sponsor her studies.
She called me one day, like my dad was like, oh Mpho, you need to go to this appointment, this meeting, to meet with this lady. And I was like, okay, what's it about? He was like, I just know it's about your flying stuff, but really the details, I don't know. Mama had spoken to her, just go and find out.
The visionary of the whole program is my late dad, Ubabu Gibson Tula, who had a vision of empowering not only academically but also in business. One of his greatest desire was to produce at least 100 black pilots. Now, to train a pilot, it costs not less than $1 million, just one. Actually, $1 million, I'm being conservative, if you really want to put them up to standard, because it also depends on the kind of school, flight school that you send them to, the quality of education that they're going to get. So before he passed on, he had said, really, my daughter, we need to have at least a girl, train one girl, even if it takes how long, the little that we get, if we can empower one black female to become a pilot.
She says to me, where do you want to go to school? I didn't even hesitate. I was like, Blue Chip, because I've always loved the school. And then she was like, okay, go get the quotation and then bring it to me. I'll write the check next week. I was like, what are you saying? So I look at my dad, and my dad and I are both confused. We're like, what just happened? And she's like, no, you want to fly, right? And I was like, yeah. And then she was like, okay, then go get the quote, bring it to me, and I'll write the check.
Just when things were falling to place, Mpho's life took another turn, this time a dramatic one, when she was sexually violated by her ex-boyfriend.
And I remember lying there thinking, wow, really, of all the people, it's going to be you, a person that I love, a person that I've trusted, a person that, So basically, did I fall in love with a lie? Like all these things were going through my mind. I couldn't believe it. Like the whole time I was just like, is this really happening? Is it really happening? It just didn't sit well with me. I wasn't okay after that. I wasn't the same. A friend of mine said to me at the airport, like, Mpho, you look sad. Like, what's wrong? And I was like, no, I'm just tired and I'm going through a lot of stuff, And there was a day I got to the airport and my instructor saw me and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm not. I literally look like I look now. And he was like, it's fine. We don't have to fly. Let's just go sit and chat a little bit. And I didn't really tell him much of anything. We just sat there and had a chat. And he was really amazing about it. And I managed to pull myself together for the day. And I carried on like nothing happened. So then I went home and I told my parents everything that happened. I was nervous to tell them because obviously being a Christian family, sex out of wedlock is just a no, just like don't do it, don't ever. And obviously, Dad, when I told him, he was mad that this thing had happened to me, but he was also mad that why was I living this lifestyle for this thing to have happened to me?
The unfortunate thing that happened to her, she ended up testing positive for HIV. And from that, the whole family has drawn so much strength, where this thing that was so far is inside the house. And we say, wow, it's possible to live and go on with a status. That Mpho Mofokeng ended up saying, yeah, Mpho, if you were to share or to tell a person of your experiences, what would you say? She said, unfortunate but necessary. why is it necessary? I think the whole episode brought Mpho to herself. She has become selfless. She has become a gift in that you look at her, many people are going to get healed from everything else, be it cancer or anything. But to say, here is a flower, it's just blossoming, and here are vectors, negative forces, but she's going on.
I walked the journey with her. She told me, and Mama said, I don't want to listen to this story. When she first told us about the journey she traveled, about the violation. We went with her to a counselor. The first test with the doctor, and the doctor says this is inconclusive. I drove with her to the clinic, and they took the blood. And all the way, I think that's what's important when parents walk the journey with their children. Saying nothing or just saying those things that are positive to them and about them. So that by the time the results come, they are all right with themselves. And of course, then she gets the results, and the very next day, she's at the clinic. I think, so quick. She was ready inside herself. And somebody has said, you know, the power of sin lies in its secrecy. Change one word, the power of HIV and AIDS lies in its secrecy. And the minute you're comfortable with yourself and this label, that's what it is, then everybody around you is healed. Because when one person is ill, the entire family is ill. But we're easy with it. She has led the healing because she's the one who goes to the clinic, who shows us the tablets, who gives us the discussion. She an hour after taking the ARVs, she says, I've got menopause. So please give me, I think I must go and lie down. So that we've made it a positive journey, a positive experience. And we're not afraid. And you know what? Mpho is going to live bigger than she was going to live without this inconvenience.
We make sure to be where news is happening,
both locally and globally. For the latest business news, stay with us.
from South Africa to the world. We've got all your latest sporting news.
Don't miss our weather updates every hour.
Stay tuned to News Today, Monday to Friday, from 3 to 5:30 p.m. here on SABC News.
Taking the bull by its horn, 25-year-old Mpho faced reality and continues to pursue her flying career. And Blue Chip has definitely become her second home, where she has found brothers and sisters who share the very same passion.
First and foremost, you must have the passion. Don't get into it for the wrong reasons. Don't get into it because you want to make a pilot salary. Don't get into it because you want to see people to see you in a pilot's uniform. Don't get into it, because when you've decided that it's the cheapest way to travel, because actually it isn't. You know, being a pilot is a big responsibility. Can you imagine if you're flying now for an airline, you have 300 souls on board. Unfortunately, your moods and your family life don't count. You know what I mean? You have to be put together, whole person, take your job seriously. It's a huge responsibility. It's a privilege and a responsibility.
Her instructor also sees the strong passion Mpho has for flying.
She's very clever, as you could have seen already. It's probably talking to her already. Her training is progressing very well. She's got very good hands for flying and a very good passion as well.
A rather daunting career, but this young lady seems to have it all in control.
Going through this book, if you look right here, aero expression. Right. See the runway to the right, Mpho? Very nice. When you're ready, you can start with your downwind checks.
I'm pretty sure for a second, if not more, you thought we're in a real plane and in the air. Well, we're in a simulator, which is a machine designed to resemble an aircraft's cockpit, with computer-generated images that mimic the pilot's view and the aircraft's motion used for training pilots. Now that we have experienced the not-so-real flying, Mpho was ready to take us on a real plane, but first, pre-flight check.
When you fly with 2 licenses or certificates. You have, okay, right now I have a student pilot license, up until I get my private pilot license. Others will fly with the commercial license, whatever level you're at. And then you have your medical license, what you've been cleared for medically. Some have a class 3, some have a class 2, some have a class 1. You must have both those things with you all the time when you fly. So now, basically me being grounded has made my medical license null and void. Okay, because when I went to the doctor that day, because he told me I have laryngitis, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine, whatever. He gave me medication, and I was like, oh, by the way, I just started these ARVs, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, oh, is it? Because I didn't know there was an HIV protocol that in your first 3 months of taking ARVs, you cannot fly. For safety reasons. It's not even like I can't even be mad about it. It's for safety reasons, because there have been incidents. People get depressed, people, the medication affects your body. It affects you, and that might affect you mentally, or your emotions, your moods, or whatever the case may be. And I'm not going to lie, I'm grateful for the fact that I'm grounded now, because if I hadn't been grounded and I had just carried on with my training, I wouldn't have coped. At the rate I was going, I wouldn't have coped. So now I've gotten a chance to regroup, get used to the medication, because it affects me obviously every day, whatever the case may be. So at least, so when I go and fly, I know I'm healthy, I'm fine, I can handle the pressure, or whatever the case may be.
And we'll actually be discussing.
Just like every other driver remembers their first driving experience, Mpho shares about her first solo flight.
My first couple of landings with the person who was assessing me was so bad. It was so bad, just because I was so nervous. He was like, don't think of it like a test. Don't think of it like, just do what you're used to doing. And then he was like, breathe. And I was like, he was like, no, take another breath. I took another breath. We did the touch and go. We took off, went round. Literally, if you just do what you've been taught all the time, really, you'll be fine. So eventually I dropped him off. He was like, okay, go. I had, when you have that giddy grin on your face, but you're smiling, but you don't want to smile. You don't want anybody to see that you're smiling. I had that grin, the grin was from here to here. And then, I went, I did my checks and everything. Then the tower was like, okay, cleared for takeoff. When I took off, it was that moment of, it's real. There's no turning back now. You're in the air. You have to land. You're alone. There's nobody's going to rescue you.
She goes with the examiner. They do a few laps. They take off, they land, they take off, they land, and then they taxi. And finally, they stand in front of the main airport building. And then the examiner steps out, closes the door, goes a few paces away, looks at her and says, I thought, you're sacrificing my daughter. Are you sure? I mean, I don't want her to pass, but are you sure that she can go alone?
So I took off, and I turned onto the downwind, and I was following a Seneca, but it was white. The plane was white, and it was like very cloudy and misty kind of, so the visibility was really bad. So I'm trying to follow this guy, I'm trying to do my checks.
So that plane taxis and gets onto the runway, and then it goes and it disappears. It's like a fly in the air. And I'm thinking, Lord, she's gonna come back. She's gonna come back. And eventually she goes, she lands, and then boom, she lands and she comes again.
And I promise you, I haven't landed better before or since. That solo flight, like that landing was literally perfect. But when I was done landing and I cleared the runway and I was finally over, the threshold, I started shaking like, oh my gosh, I did it. Oh my gosh, I did it. Like, it was so overwhelming, like I was about to cry.
She's done it. She's done it. I'm dancing alone. She's done it. And then eventually she takes us around the building and we go off the boardroom where we're sitting, and we go off and watch the plane finally go to where it's going to park. And then I'm looking at the plane and I can feel, yes, the waterfalls are coming down.
I was just thankful and grateful to God. I was just like, you know what? I never thought this day would come. Basically, it's every time I take off, I'm just like, even when I land, I'm just like, I want to go again. It was so fun. I want to go. I've just finished flying, but I want to do it again immediately.
I always say, for her, the sky is not the limit.
The sky is my happy place. I don't have a race. I don't have a gender. I don't have, I don't have a nationality. I have no tags. I have nothing. It's just me and the sky and God, and I'm just happy.
Phones, cloud systems and robots have taken over a lot of what used to be done manually.
Our accounting system is actually based on the cloud.
Google nowadays can tell you where you parked your car.
And Africa's entrepreneurs are using technology to create.
With Pocket Masipala, you can basically do all the services that you would do at the municipality physically by going there, but you can now do them on a mobile app.
Join me, Phumelele Zondi, on Sundays at 9 p.m. on SABC News.
Mpho was inspired and moved when she heard about Vusumuzi, who built his own plane using scrap material. Vusumuzi has always had passion for flying, but has never had access to real planes.
My place has Wi-Fi. I sit there with Wi-Fi all day. What am I doing with this Wi-Fi? I could have figured out how to build a plane. He did it in front of his shack. Are you joking?
After hearing about the man from Rustenburg, Mpho was eager to go meet him and possibly do something good for him. While Mpho was flying from Pretoria to Rustenburg with her instructor, some pilots from Blue Chip drove to surprise Vusi with some goodies. While Vusi showed the pilots his plane, Mpho was still in the air, heading to Vusi. Just when Vusi thought this was it, he was told to go change into a pilot's uniform and get ready to leave, as there was a bigger surprise for him at the Rustenburg Flying Club. And the big surprise was finally here. What's a surprise without the actual flying? Mpho offered to take Vusi on the plane and fulfill his wish of flying. But first, she taught and showed him a few things. And as they landed back, Vusi was honored by the pilots for his bravery and passion. Mpho's big heart was clearly seen and is evident because by such a gesture, she has managed to leave a lasting positive impact on the life of a man who was strongly passionate about aviation and had been wishing to fly.
I really look up to her, and I admire her. I admire her tenacity. I admire her spirit, I admire her strength.
She will be a person who's going to be first at many things. And I think what I would say to her is do not be afraid to be the first. Do not be afraid to be a pioneer.
Mpho is the right person to sort of encourage, inspire the young girls who might have thought they are not capable, or who thought, no, this is not for me. But when they see Mpho flying and doing it, I think we will meet our target.
I'm hoping someday it would be nice that, let's say I'm flying an airline and she's flying an airline, and suddenly we come across each other on the radio frequencies and we're like, oh, is that you? It's like, oh yeah, no. Where are you heading? No, she's on her way to New York, or I'm on my way to London or whatever. Or even, I mean, if we end up flying for the same airline, maybe we end up flying together. But yeah, no, I really wish the best for her.
Mpho's vision is beyond just flying planes.
I see myself owning an airline. I see myself owning multiple charter companies. I see myself owning a flight school. I see myself, I'm going to be the go-to guy in aviation. I truly believe that in my heart of hearts. I really truly believe that there's going to come a day where governments will be like, look, we need this package delivered from point A to point B. What's the safest way we can do it? And they're going to say Mpho Mofokeng.
We call her the seventh girl in the house. She was born on the 7th of July. She weighed 7 pounds, 7 ounces. She was born in the US. So she's a seventh girl. And in the Bible, 7 is completion. So I always say to him, Mpho, you are complete, girl. You are complete.
Look, girl, we're proud of you, and we have confidence in you. And just do us a favor. Be the best that you can be.
Mpho, your determination is someone's strength, and Bophelong salutes you for your refusal to be discouraged by circumstances. We also salute you for your courage, your boldness, and your sheer determination to become the best of the best.
What a wife!